Heyo everybody, Haku here with my live reaction for Omniscient Reader, at least chapters 46 and 47. If they're kind of super short, I'll do another. But usually, Omniscient Reader chapters are pretty long, so that's why I've only been doing two. They're just kind of lengthy. But yeah, either way, we are in the middle of the fourth scenario that started already, just immediately jumping into it, and it is a battle between stations in a way. So different tests for the third scenario were going on at each station, and now each station is tasked with delivering their flag to another station, which is, I think, an interesting way to do your twist on capture the flag or whatever, because you both have to have your leader who's carrying the flag put themselves in danger by going to the enemy base, which means you need people to protect your leader, while also having people protect your base so that you don't get taken over. And, you know, Dokja mentioned before, we're gonna need Gongpil-du's ability for the future, and it's like, oh yeah, this is a very good use of his ability to be able to, you know, protect the place. It's kind of what his specialty is. But either way, let's just go ahead and get into reading chapter 46, and as usual, we can just like talk through it as we're reading. But yeah, either way, we're starting off with Kim Hyun-tae. Kim Hyun-tae, or Hyun-tae. I think AE is Tae in Korean. Kim Hyun-tae, the leader of Myeongdong, has used the effect of the red flag. And then we saw him, you know, Dokja, like, noticed him at the end of last chapter when we got cut off. The Myeongdong group has received the buff from the red flag. Fight until we get to the flagpole. Everyone's attack and defense has increased by 5%. Red flag. He's the leader of Myeongdong Station. The color of the flags is what determines the victor in this battle of flags. Starting with white, there are red, navy, brown, purple, and black flags. Okay? White, red, navy, brown, purple, black. Got it. As the flag's color changes, it provides a better buff for your group. Okay. That is interesting. So his is only red. I didn't pay attention to what the one, that Dokja had was. I guess next time we see a panel of him, we'll know. Oh, it's white, so he gets the weakest one. Seeing how they have a red flag, it means they've either taken over another station or killed the leader of another station and taken their flag. Oh, so taking out other leaders is what makes your flag stronger? They seem not all too bad in the field of battle, but that's nowhere near the skills you need to take over Chungmuro. You little rats. Of course, because Gongpil-du, Stigma Militarized Zone Level 6 of the character Gongpil-du has been activated. Gongpil-du's skill, Private Property Level 6, has been activated, and I always try to switch things around in my brain. I always try to go surname first, because that's the way that Koreans do it. So I always try to do that in my head, just because it makes more sense to me. It sounds smoother reading, but sometimes I just forget. Sometimes I'm just reading. But we see the turrets line up, and then what? And start blasting everyone back. Everyone regroup. This wasn't in the intel we gathered. And then run, retreat. Where do you think you're going? And as they retreat, they run into Dokja. Unbreakable Faith's special property has been activated. The ether affix is changed to fire. And he attacks with a slash. Move it! Hurry! And they're just completely screwed. We see the flag go flying and land on the ground. And then Omniscient Reader, Episode 46, Chapter 10, Future War Part 3. Alright, we have the leader taken down, and then Gongpil-du turns. The flag! Pil-du, you're itching for a beating, aren't you? And then, damn it, he just climbs back up. I didn't even have to lift a finger, thanks, Weewon. You have obtained the flag of the Myeongdong group, and then your flag has evolved, or your white flag has evolved into a red flag. Your white flag has absorbed the contribution points accumulated in the red flag. You're one step closer to the King's Path. Oh, that's right, they mentioned you can't walk the King's Path before. So this is an interesting part of the game that we hadn't been told about yet, making your flag stronger. The flag boosts the stats of not only the leader, but also all of the members belonging to a group once it reaches the color red. So it's not even just like the nearby members, it's all the members of the group. This is what causes them to attack all the stations on their way to the target station. All the other stations and their leaders should be at war with one another to upgrade the flags they have. Say, why didn't you go a little easy on them? There isn't anyone left alive. How am I supposed to go easy when they're coming at us like that? Yeah, true. I mean, what's he supposed to do? The remaining members of the Myeongdong group are awaiting your order. Okay, so when you absorb a flag, you also get the people under it. I can't get any useful information out of them now. They probably knew who was at this station before they attacked. Ilhun was puzzled to hear that I was the leader here, and they attacked without hesitation. Could it be the prophets who told them about Chungmuro? And then we see the Myeongdong sign on the Chungmuro sign, again with the splatter of blood over Myeongdong, like symbolically showing, yeah, they're dead. We also see Dongdaemun something and culture. I think that was the park or whatever, wasn't it? But it's cut off. What will you do with me? And then, that depends on how useful you prove yourself to be. The constellations have deemed them evil. Maybe we should try torturing them. That's too much work. We'll just kill them if they refuse to talk. I'm going to count to 3. If you don't tell me anything during that time, you're dead. And then 1, 2, and then 3. Dongmyo. At Dongmyo. People there told us about Chungmuro. They call themselves the prophets. And then he starts choking. Okay, Sanga, use your thread to shut his mouth. Okay, so I guess because it's one of those things that you see all the time. It's like, you know, a kill switch. They die when they give the information. And then he's choking, but she uses her thread. They're using hypnosis to stop information about them from leaking. They're quite meticulous. And then, but it looks like things may work out just fine. What a lucky bastard. Hypnosis can only be used against someone they've met face to face. As long as we have him hostage, he'll be able to point us to one of them. Alright, so that's good. Now they know this guy can give information. We still see the shooting stars outside of the station. Is he still out of it? And then Jihye flinches. What about downstairs? Clueless bastard. And then, don't worry about us and rest up. My master, is he going to be okay? He will be. He may be traumatized a little. Traumatized? He's not as mentally prepared as you might expect. He'll get better after a good rest, so please look after him. You sound like you know a lot about him. And then, I know him better than anyone else in the world. Here, don't read it. Just give it to Yu Jung-hyuk when he wakes up. Got it? Okay. She said she won't, but she'll probably read it. It's full of words that only Yu Jung-hyuk would understand, so she won't get it, though. I wonder if what I wrote in the notes censored for the constellations. The constellation Prisoner of the Golden Headband expresses his distaste for censorship. I see. So again, I guess that means like confirmation that it is censored for them. They can't see what he's saying. But, can I ask you one thing? Earlier this morning, you and Master? Damn it, did Jihye hear us too? I've yapped my mouth off about, not thinking about whoever was nearby. You know, you two, what? I'll play dumb for now. You know, you said, what did I say? You promised yourself not to think that. And then, there's no need to mimic what I said, and he's shivering. What about the resolution you made after your, what's it called? And then, why do you think I followed you? You're not alone, we're in this together. Hey, wait, I'll always be by your side. Don't you ever lose hope. Think about our child. What? I never said anything like that. So is she assuming? Because, like, he said something about falling in love with somebody and the pain of when his child was killed or something. So is Jihye like, oh my god, that's me. Totally me. She's just self-inserting herself as Yu Jung-hyuk's lover. How is it that she's twisted up my words like this? Is that really it? You and Master are... I mean, don't worry. I'll make sure that he reads your love letter. Or no. Wait. She's, like, repeating what he said in his speech. So that's what she thinks the speech is. So she has inserted him. She has inserted Dokcha as the lover who they have a child with. And then, is it really that? You and Master are, I mean, don't worry. I'll make sure that he reads your love letter. So she's just completely misreading the situation. Why you? I would never. And I love that he completely just hates Yu Jung-hyuk, basically. Many constellations are shocked by what was censored to them. The constellation Prisoner of the Golden Headband is respectful of your orientation. The constellation Demonic Judge of Fire is delighted by your comradeship. The Constellation's secretive plotter is flabbergasted. You've been gifted the super chat. You've been gifted 600 coins. Those idiots. Wait, but what, kid? Did you two adopt a child? Ask Yu Jung-kyuk when he wakes up. He goes back down. Never in the course of TWSA have I come across the name The Prophets. Then this could only mean one of two things. One is that a certain variable has caused another prophet other than Anacroft to appear, and the other is that there's another reader like myself, someone who gave up reading the novel earlier than I have. It's most likely the latter. Prophets are a rare breed after all. So it's somebody pretending to be a prophet, kind of like Dokja did at the beginning. And then we see the Chungmuro and Myeongdong station again. Dokja, are you sure we don't need to bring more people? And he's just with Hyunsung and Sangha again. And I would assume that, like, Huimon was with that group last time, so she's probably with them again. We're going to decide what to do with them, not to fight them. The people of Myeongdong Station will die if we leave them like this. Unless they're extremely lucky, the people who've become drifters will soon fall prey to other groups, just like the Landlord Coalition members who left Chungmuro. And then, are you sad that we didn't get to make them our allies? A little. You shouldn't trust people too easily. Things won't be as easy as you want it to be in the future. I know, but still, I wanted to believe them. That's how I was able to make it this far. Yeah, she did. Like, she would have died in the original book, but she made it this far just by trusting Dokja. Dokja? And then he snaps out of it. And we see all the people taken down already. And a group in there in armor. Alright? They all jump onto the motorcycles. Who are those people? What's happened? I don't know. I can't believe this. They ran off, as if they knew I was coming. And then, you know, just like he wouldn't know the variable of another reader wouldn't know the variable, like, you know, I guess that's why he comes to that conclusion rather than an actual prophet, because just like him, another reader would have been surprised to know that he was the leader of the station. Myeongdong Station is currently unoccupied. Will you take over the station? And he plants his flag. You've taken over Myeongdong Station. A station you've taken over cannot be lost until you lose your flag or your HQ. Currently occupied territory, Chungmuro HQ and Myeongdong. The contribution points of the red flag is increased. You've expanded your territory by taking over another station. A new hidden scenario's arrived. The King's Path is opened up. And we see King's Path, category hidden, difficulty A. Clear condition, take over 10 or more stations within the given time period. The time limit's 10 days. The reward is covered by his hair, and so is the penalty. Okay, we're getting to see it. The reward is the king attribute, and the penalty for failure is that you and everyone in your group will die if you fail to at least take over a station per day. That is, you know, kind of a bad thing. It's kind of almost like a bad thing to do then. This dreadful scenario begins at last. So, like, they're forced to kill or, you know, peacefully conquer, but kill is, you know, probably more likely, because I feel like conquering... Well, actually, conquering would cause everybody from the station to die, right? So, yeah, you would have to either kill them, because you'd have to kill the leader, because conquering kills everybody, right? I thought that was established. So you'd have to kill the leader, take their flag, and then take it over to get them to, like, flip sides and join you, rather than them all just dying. So it's difficult, and you have to do that once per day. You can't just, like, get 3 in a day, and then, you know, a couple of days where you can't capture one, or you can't, like, wait a few days to prepare, and then capture a bunch at once. Like, you have to do one a day. And, I don't know, just forcing the pacing like that is, like, really harsh. Plus, the penalty being so steep for something that's a hidden side objective is crazy. So again, it's almost like you would be safer in a way to just bypass all the other stations and go straight for your target. Doing so puts you at a disadvantage because you have to watch out for the other stations, and because you're not going to have the buff of a stronger flag when you go after your target. But you also wouldn't have the pressure of, I need to take over one a day or we all die, basically. But yeah, either way, let's go ahead and read chapter 47. Going into chapter 47, I feel like, unless it's like super short, probably going to be the only other one we read today, so let's see what we get this time. This looks like a difficult scenario, and we see, Dongdaemun History and Culture Park. Are you going to be okay, Dokja? But I'm glad that you're the leader. I can't tell if they're good people or if they're naive. Most would be green with envy that I got the hidden scenario. I would not be. Like, I don't know. Envy might not be the thing. It would be more like, if anything, if I didn't trust you, apprehension that it's like, oh god, this guy's the leader, and we're going to die for his mistakes if he messes up. Should I call you Your Majesty from now on? You must be joking. Why would I want anything like that? Well, Your Majesty, if what the hidden scenario is saying is true, we should be trying to take over a new station right now. If you value the lives of your subjects. Yeah, but I don't know. You took one over today, so I would be like, should we wait a day before taking over the next one? Or is it cumulative? Can you just take over can you take over 5 and then be good for 5 days? We should first learn about the people who attacked us. From the way it's written, I wouldn't assume that. Maybe if that was written in the fine print, but since it's not specified, I would assume that means I have to wait a day and take one over the next day. First we should learn about the people who attacked us. We'll head for Dongmyo right away. Can you come with me, Huiwon and Hyunsung? Then I want you to stay here, Sanga. Oh. Yes, right. That would be... Oh, Sanga? Yes? Not everyone's good at the same thing. Yes, I know. Sanga's probably thinking about her role in the group. She's not a great fighter like Huiwon, nor is she a great tank like Hyunsung. But she doesn't have great hidden ability like Gil Young. Do you remember what you said in the subway? I have my own life, and you also have your own life to live. Yes, I do. I even have it saved on my phone. Why would she do that? You're needed here. We can't leave Gil Young here alone like this, we also need someone to watch over Gongpil-du, and we need someone to lead the anxious group members. We also need to defend ourselves against Hoehyun, I'm assuming, probably. I would have to see from the way it's all crammed together, I would have to see the actual Hangul to know. I would assume Hoehyun. Then, we see the Dongguk University Station, Seoul Station, it looks like down there. They could come for our station while we're away. We do have Pildu for that, but we may need your skill depending on the situation. That being said, I'd like to award you with a title. What do you guys think? What? If it's Miss You, I don't have any problems. Your Majesty, your word is my command. And we still have Huiwon just joking around. You use your authority as the leader. Chungmuro's leader, Kim Dokja, has shared his authority with Yu Sang-ah. I'm not sure if I'm worthy of this. Yu Sang-ah has become the vice representative of Chungmuro Station. I'm only doing this because it's you. Yu Sang-ah can now punish other group members in place of the leader. And then, I'll do my best. And again, it's nice to see Sang-ah getting a little bit more, even if this means we might be sidelining her for a little bit. Actually, if we're not going to follow her, and we're going to follow Dokja continuing on. We have Future War Part 4, though, and we're seeing their sort of plotted course. So they could get attacked from behind by Yuljiro or something, but it looks like Yuljiro, something like that. But they're going from Dongdaemun, taking a right to Dongmyo. Alright. So I'm just trying to take in the map, since other stations attacking them is kind of important. Alright. So, okay, so they're actually going the long way back past Chungmuro to get up to Dongdaemun and go to Dongmyo. Well done. Sang-ah seemed a bit down lately. And then, I didn't do it just to make Sang-ah feel better. It was because I believed she'd be perfect for the job. Sang-ah wasn't just a pretty female employee of HR that everyone looked up to. I gave her the job because everyone had their own field of expertise. Can you give me a title too? Something that suits me. What about an executioner? Never mind. About that. About that prick on the roof. Is it okay to just leave him there? Oh, you mean Yu Jung-hyuk? Yeah, him. He should be fine. You sound as if you know him well. How do you know him? Huibon, do you have a baby brother? Yes, he started 7th grade this year. Why? What's it like having a baby brother? It's annoying. They never listen and pick fights with you. He even caused trouble at school, so I had to go in place of Mom. But you're worried about him now, right? Well, I guess it's because he's family. That's kinda how I feel. You have a brother too? No, I meant Yu Jung-hyuk. Oh, I see. I guess you don't really hate him all that much. No, I do. I got into so many fights because of him. In the earlier years of TWSA, I wasn't the only person reading it. It had quite a lot of readers during its first 10 episodes, and even had 12 readers up until its 50th episode. The people I fought online then, I wasn't any different from Namwoon. Maybe it's one of them that I'm going to be facing up against soon. You two seem to have gotten quite close. What's it to you, army boy? Jealous? No, what I meant was, come to think about it, Hyunsung went to an all-boys school, majored in engineering, and went to the army. Poor guy, he thinks. I was just trying to tell you that we've arrived at Dongdaemun History and Culture Park Station. And then we see the sign. This is strange. There's no one around. This station is under the control of Dongmyo Station. If you want to take control of the station, steal the Dongmyo Station flag or plant your flag at the station's flagpole. And then the person on his back flinches. No, Dongdaemun is... And then... Kang Il-hoon has become a wanderer. Looks as if Dongdaemun Station was taken over. It must have been a trap. Whoever had Myeongdong and Dongdaemun attack Chungmuro must have known that they would fail to take over Chungmuro. They probably wanted to take over Myeongdong and Dongdaemun while they were out. Those men we saw in Myeongdong probably belong in their group. Oh, the ones that ran off. The people who knew that we'd win. The people who knew that the people who knew who Chungmuro's original leader was. That must be it. That was what they were after. I know for sure now. The so-called prophets are. And I guess that means it originally probably was Yu Jung-hyuk. And that was the reason why they were doing what they were doing. Someone's coming, says Hyunsung. And we have people walking down the tracks. Il-hoon? Looks like you've brought some unwelcome guests. Personal skill character profile activation. And he has a bunch of golden, glowing gear on. Are you gonna introduce yourselves? And then, this person's profile cannot be browsed using character profile. This character doesn't have a registered character profile. So, meaning they weren't in the book, you would think. Seriously? We're from Chungmuro. Chungmuro. Someone's used the skill, search attribute, on you. And then it reflects back. Personal skill, 4th wall, has blocked the search attribute skill. Then, excuse me, but what is your name? The people who knew about Yu Jung-hyuk, the original leader of Chungmuro Station. And then he smiles. My name is Yu Jung-hyuk. And then we have reactions from Hyunsung and Huiwon. Oh, could he... TWSA describes Yu Jung-hyuk's appearance quite often. The adjective that's used most in describing Jung-hyuk is handsome. With my looks, I guess I could pull it off. What is it? It's nothing, sir. They look like they're scared. I can now know this for sure. This person in front of me is someone who's read TWSA. Search attribute. Right, go ahead and look them up. He must know who Hyunsung is now. You better watch what you're doing, you punk. He must, and that's good, he brought someone with him that was in the story. He must think that I have the Eye of the Sage skill. Did you think I'd not know that you're using your skill to look us up? What? Who the hell do you think you're talking to? And then the guy gets hit in the back by the reader. I'm terribly sorry. We apologize for our transgressions. Let me introduce myself. My name is Lee Song-guk. I'm the vice representative of Dongmyo Station. Oh? So they could be a reader, or they could be somebody that was appointed by the reader. What's he doing? And then we see Dongmyo. And We have Dokja walking in with them through the crowd. Dok, and then Won smacks him for trying to talk and use his real name. You can see what's going on, right? Yes, I guess. And since then, I've been acting as Yu Jung-hyuk. Dongmyo, I see. Get lost now. Sorry? This station is mine, so pack up and get lost. What are you saying? Do you think this is a joke? I can't do that. A station that's been taken over can't... Do you think I'm stupid? You're the vice representative. You have the authority to hand over the station your group controls. Didn't you know that? If you don't hand over the station before I count to 3, I'll kill all of you. 1. You must not get how serious I am. Can he do that? 2. 3. And he draws a sword. Wait, I'll do it. That's not enough. Sorry? You were too late. Give us Dongdaemun as well. I was transferred the rights to Dongdaemun Culture and History Park, and came to Dongmyo to be transferred the rights to Dongdaemun as well. I can give you Dongdaemun Culture and History Park, but with Dongdaemun, I beg you, please, meet with our leader first. On my king's honor, I promise I'll not do anything to harm you, Mr. Yu. Good. Lead the way. Dongmyo's vice representative, Lee Sung-guk, has made a promise on the king's honor. Lee Sung-guk will be punished dearly if he breaks his promise. If I remember correctly, the leader here will be that loser. Okay, so the reader is just working for the leader of the station, instead of taking over as leader himself like Dokja did. And then... Main scenario 4... Okay, we're just getting the scenario recap. Alright. Yeah, we just get that at the end of each chapter. I'll go through and reread it, but I figure no use in rereading it here since it's something we've already read. Either way, it was a good 2 chapters. Basically always is. I like the way that this is set up, how it's more intricate than it seemed at first. Again, I like the general flip I mentioned at the very beginning of the video on the usual setup for Capture the Flag, where you have to send your leader out, but you also have to defend yourself, but capturing more things to make your flag more powerful, and your flag gives buffs to all of the people that are part of the group. I think that's really, 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 really cool. This one reader guy, a little bit disappointing so far. I also feel like I don't care as much for that in the story. Like, I feel like something I've mentioned before, like in the early days of reading Omniscient Reader, was that it's the world and the setup is interesting, but then you throw another layer on it with Dokja being a reader and having read the story. That's like an entirely new layer of story, another new layer of meta on it. But then you add in things like regressors and the fact that they can go back and like are basically in a time loop, and you're adding yet another meta. You're adding yet another way to tell the story, and who knows like how that can play out, because like if a regressor, like if Yu Jung-hyuk dies, it's like Dokja probably doesn't know exactly 100% what happens to the world. Does he get regressed too? Does he continue on in this world without the regressor? This timeline just continues on as normal without him? Or does this timeline just disappear, vanish into nothingness if Yu Jung-hyuk regresses, which would be extremely bad news for Dokja since he's in this timeline. So it's like there's a bunch of different layers. And I'd almost be fine if it was just the one layer. I'd be fine if there weren't characters going back and redoing things once they died. I'd be fine if Dokja wasn't somebody who read ahead of time, if this was just a survive the apocalypse kind of thing. If the story was simpler, I would still appreciate it, maybe even appreciate it more. So I don't know, adding in more readers, I'm just like, I don't want to say I don't care, and I don't want to say I don't like it. Neither of those things are really, really true. But at the same time, it's like I didn't really need it. You know, if we just went the rest of the story, Dokja was the only reader. You know, I probably would have liked that more. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. Dokja's the only one who's read the full thing. But yeah, I don't know. It's just sort of like, whatever. It's like, it doesn't do anything to make me like the story more, but it like isn't a terrible thing that detracts either. But yeah, either way, I guess that's it. I don't think there's anything more for these 2 chapters to talk about. So thank you so much for watching. Like if you like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of these 2 chapters, my first thoughts and reaction. We can talk down there, we can talk on Twitter if you want, we can talk on Discord if you want. It's free and open for anyone. Just ask and I'll give you a link to the server if you want it. If you'd like to help support the channel, super thanks would be appreciated. But I would say just hit join down below, become a channel member if you want, or become a patron at patreon.com/HakuofTheTubes, or a link will be in the description, because that way you get One Piece a bit early, that way you get a shout out at the end of every video. I feel like you, and of course you help me to continue to make videos, but I just feel like you get a little bit more out of it that way. Thank you to patrons and channel members. Thank you to Chosen, Regular, Evan Hawley. I tried to I was reading through so quickly that the from Regular showed up in Chosen, early in Chosen. Chosen, Regular, Evan Hawley. Thank you to Magical Girls, Efronono, Huarian, and Smeller Dog. Thank you to Cherryton Student, David Langstaff, and thank you to Slayer Candidate SG. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.